CEO Ronald from Create the Difference to talk to you about the new Storm Incite bowling ball. New piece from them. We're going to be able to take a peek at the surface scan, see what that ball scans at. So we'll get a fresh part of the cover there. Maybe on the back side of the ball where it's fresh. There we go, like right in there, perfect. Let's see what we get for a scan. So it's jumping around there a bit, but it's kind of right around 2,000, 3,000 grit, right around there somewhere. Okay. 2,500, we'll call it. Should wipe your ball off every shot. Help you give you a more consistent reaction for sure. So we'll watch Dustin those two shots. This ball obviously seems to be more of a traction type reaction. Earlier, smoother piece. There we go. Nice through the pins there. But that ball definitely is a little bit early. Let's go throw it on lane 2. Lane 2 is the AMF surface. Lane 1 is the Brunswick surface. I'm curious to see how it rolls over here. This ball, obviously, like I said, is a really strong piece from Storm. It's early though. So earlier traction, you're gonna use this on more of your patterns that require you to get the bowling ball to kind of get into a roll. You can kind of see right about there it begins to roll and it rolls forward. So the rolling of forward is what's causing it to leave that flat 10 pin, which typically isn't great on house patterns. You want your ball to be going through the pins at an angle, typically to be able to get you to kick out those corners and send messengers. But this ball, being an earlier piece, definitely more rolly, definitely is one of these balls that is going to be better for those sport patterns, those challenging patterns, and when you really need to get the bowling ball to get into a roll, because that's what it does. You can see that this ball gets into a roll pretty aggressively. Right about there, and then it rolls forward. So it gives you a little idea of the performance of that ball out of the box. Now, one of the things that you can do when you're bowling, and let's say you're bowling in this environment and you're like, yeah, this bowling ball, he's gonna throw it again. This bowling ball is just a little bit too early. It's too rolly. I'm not gonna be able to carry very well over time with this because it is too early. And you can kind of see right there, and then it goes forward. So as long as he actually hits his mark, he's gonna be able to strike. But if he gets that ball a border to right, he's going to flat 10 all day long, simply because of the way that ball's rolling. So we'll have him throw a few more shots with it, and then we'll talk about what you can do about that flat 10 if you see your ball motion be a little too rolly. Well, that one's in, so it may hold, right? So that one shot was in, and that's one of the benefits of a ball that's rolly, right? If you get it into the oil, you're gonna be able to get that ball to hold pocket as opposed to clipping or going a little high and leaving you with the 4 pin. So that is one of the benefits. But if he misses to the right, he's in trouble. And the reason being is because it's rolling. This ball's a traction ball and it's rolly, and rolly balls don't tend to work well at creating lots of entry angle. That's a pretty good shot. See that? Paralyzer 5 pins, another one of those examples of what happens when you have a ball that's rolly. But let's talk about what we can do to fix that, right? Leave the Paralyzer 5 pin, the bowling ball is just a little bit too forward. Let's change the surface of this bowling ball. So we're gonna use a TruCut P5000D pad, which actually will begin to bring the surface of this bowling ball up a little bit. He's gonna show you how we're gonna do that. So, you know, when you wanna change the surface of your bowling ball, that's a good way to change the performance of that ball. Let's talk a little bit about what's gonna happen. So when you look at the bowling ball, you can see some of the lines in the ball. What we're gonna do is we're actually gonna use some TruCut conditioner, and we're gonna use the P5000D pad, and we're gonna sand that bowling ball by hand. You're gonna go on the sides of the bowling ball first, you'll work your way to the top, back on the sides, flip it over and do that again. And the reason why we're doing that is just to kind of show you what happens when you change your ball reaction. You can change your ball reaction with surface, and you can change your ball reaction quickly with surface. Now, you can't do this while you're bowling, but you can do it before or after competition. And obviously, given what we're doing here, we saw how the ball rolled, how the ball performed when the bowling ball was fresh out of the box. And it's a little bit rolly, a little bit too forward, which isn't good for lots of strikes long term for sure. And you know, if you have that, or your bowling ball, you feel like your bowling ball kind of does that, this is a good way to demonstrate what you can do to fix that. You can change your ball reaction pretty quickly with using the TruCut Sanding Pads and TruCut Conditioner. And like I said, obviously you can't do it while you're bowling, but you could have it for next week, right? You could have it set up for next week. You also could allow yourself to have a pretty good opportunity to be able to strike if you were bowling a tournament and you were able to get to the next block, because you could do it in between blocks. You'll finish it off with a little bit of Wow Factor ball cleaner and a Ctd Power Pad just to get the ball nice and clean. You can see there's not a lot of residual dirt either that's left behind using the conditioner. It does help to keep the ball moderately clean. A lot better than if you were using water or anything else to get the bowling ball clean. All right. So now what we'll do, kind of dry the ball. You can kind of see how the ball looks there. Definitely sounds really good, right? Definitely sounds really good. So we'll go ahead and we'll do a little surface scan on it real quick here. So we'll do the surface scan. And you can see kind of where we're at. Kind of bouncing around a little bit, 3,500 to 4,000. There we go. So 4 to 5 there. So there you go. So it's close to 4,000 grit as we would expect, right, by hand. Obviously, you're not going to be able to be as consistent by hand as you are if you do it on a spinner, but nonetheless, we're right around that 4,000 grit like it's supposed to be, and now we'll see the change in the ball reaction with the ball. So definitely not as forward as it was before. A little cleaner through that front portion of the lane, a little more down lane, which is going to give us the ability to strike more consistently, which is kind of what we're looking for. So I'll have him throw one more shot, and you'll be able to kind of have a little better understanding of maybe what you need to do to change your ball reaction, especially if you kind of encounter a situation where your ball is a little bit too rolly, a little bit too forward. So now you can be able to see what differences you can get by just changing the surface of your bowling ball. We took a bowling ball that was a little bit too rolly and we made it a little less rolly, and that gave us a little bit more angle to be able to knock those pins down. You can buy the Incite at bowlingforless.com. You can also consider joining us, our staff, and learn more about surface and surfacing bowling balls at ctdbowling.com. On behalf of Dustin Zander, I am CEO, running for Create a Difference. Talk to you soon.